Last but not least, I would like to give the floor to the last speaker that is from Indonesia. I'm talking about Ms. Anisa Noyara Ratchamsari from the Indonesian Institute of Agroclimate and Hydrology Standardization. That will tell us about the sea Katam Terpadu. Sorry for my bad pronunciation. And in other words, the integrated cropping calendar information systems used in Indonesia. Ms. Ratchamsari, the floor is yours. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Lucrezia. Can you already see my screen?
It's coming. Yes, now we can see.
Yeah, I hope it is on the presentation mode now.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, great. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Anisa Noyara, and I'm from the Indonesian Institute of Agroclimate and Hydrology Standardization. And I'm grateful to share with you today about the innovation that we have in the Ministry of Agriculture in Indonesia. This innovation is called Integrated Cropping Calendar Information System, or in short, ICCIS, or in Indonesian, we call it Kalender Tanam or Katam. So this information system basically provides recommendation of planting time or planting schedule for the farmers, as well as for the fertilizers dosage, the seed varieties option, and also the agricultural machinery. As I mentioned before, for farmers, our main users, but also for the agriculture extension workers that work closely with the farmers, and also for the other related stakeholders, mainly for the decision making. And this recommendation is available for the three staple foods that we have in Indonesia, which is rice, corn, and also soybeans. And besides the information about the planting practices, we also provide information about the impact of climate change in the agriculture sector. So it covers the agricultural risk due to flood, droughts, and also the pest or disease attacks. For now, the information system provides recommendations that covers all the provinces in Indonesia. And we have more detailed information for sub-district level. So we cover around 7,200 sub-district level in Indonesia. And because of this characteristic, the system is integrated and also dynamic. And you can all access the information freely at our website at katamterpadu.info. This information system basically processes a set of data into a set of information. As you can see on your screen, the data includes the rainfall precipitation prediction for the couple next month. And we also have the soil nutrition status. And we also have the rice field standard area and historical data of the staple crop damage. The algorithm of this information system is then process all those data into the recommendation that I mentioned before, including for the planting practices and also about the agricultural risk that that is made from the climate change impact. ICCIS has been developed since 2007, basically to help the farmers and also the extension workers and also the policymakers to be more adaptive and to be more climate resistant. And lately, we were awarded as the top public service innovation by our own Ministry of Administrative and Bureaucratic Reform. And we were also nominated as the Indonesian representative in the United Nations Public Service Award for this year. And beside the information that you can access online in our website, we also have the offline version of this recommendation that I will show you later. So firstly, here you can see the website interface of ICCIS. You can see there are menus, some menus available on the website. And here that is being shared to your screen is the main menu, which is the calendar tanam or the shopping calendar itself. Under this menu, we have some sub-menus where you can choose how you can see the recommendation. So we have the interactive map, we have the interactive data, the graph, and the others. You can zoom in or zoom out the maps to see the more specific recommendation in the sub-district that you choose. Or you can also select the administration area in the box on the left side of this website. And then the recommendation and the more detailed information will appear on the right side of this website. And here we have the offline version of ICCIS that we call Info BPP. So to obtain this, you can actually download this Info BPP as in the one of the menu of the website. So you can input the name of the sub-district that you want to know, and then the system will then summarize all the recommendations about the planting practice as well as the agricultural risk into this one file. This file usually used by the agriculture extension workers that work closely with the farmers on the field. So they might have a limited internet connection. And in this slide, I want to show you about the collaboration necessary to develop this information system. You can see there on the data input, we are not only relying on the Ministry of Agriculture, because we also rely on the Meteorological Bureau, the Statistical Bureau, and also the Geospatial Information Agency to obtain those inputs such as the climate prediction, the rice field area, and also the admin map. As for the supporting input, about disaster, about the seed variety, the fertilizer dosage, we also obtain the data from our brothers and sisters in the Ministry of Agriculture institution. And we here in the Agroclimate and Hydrology Standardization Institute is then process this data because we are the manager of this information system. And when we have the output, the recommendation will then disseminate it into the user. So the users include the policymakers in the national level, in the regional level, and as well as the farmers and also the agriculture extension workers that is the main user of this system. And we sometimes also share the info for the universities, for the research institutes, and basically anyone that wants to know about the cropping calendar. So ICCIS is actually one of the actionables that need to be taken by the government of Indonesia to deal with the climate anomalies in agriculture sector. As you can see on the box there in your screen, the spirit to develop this information system stems from the observation that climate change shifts the planting times and increases the agricultural risk. So by developing this information system, we hope that the farmers and the other stakeholders that related to the agriculture can align their practices because of the changing climate. And by doing so, we hope that we can maintain the productivity of our agriculture products. And of course, it is in accordance with the achievement of SDGs, especially for the goal number 2, the zero hunger, and then goal number 13, the climate action. And here you can see the impact of our system, where we can measure through the productivity of the crops that we have, which is rice, corn, and soybean. As you can see there, there are numbers of productivity rate. For rice, it is 5.7. For corn, it is 4 ton per hectare, and for soybean, it is 1.7 ton per hectare. These numbers are all above average of the national productivity of each crops. So it shows that there is a significant increase on the productivity for the farmers that using the recommendation from ICCIS compared to the farmers that who do not using the recommendation. And you can see that also the coverage of this information system is increasing from time to time in accordance to the expansion of the sub-district number in Indonesia. This system has undergone like different implementation from various versions from year to year. And from the lesson learned that we have, the principle of ICCIS can be adjusted or replicated into other innovation as well. So for example, in 2019, we have cropping calendar book for 14 plantation commodities. And also the principle that is used in ICCIS is also being utilized by a mobile app called Petani and RITX that is developed by a private company. And in 2020, we have Sirami Kebunku, which is an information system about the cropping calendar for 10 plantation commodities, and also SysCrop, which is an information system that can monitor the rice growth rate. And then lately, the latest one, the principle of ICCIS is also being used in the development of early warning system called Sikantara, which is more about the horticulture planting management. And throughout the years, we also observed some strengths and also weaknesses or the barriers that we have in the implementation of this system. For the strength, we kind of we are grateful that we kind of hit the objective for the ICCRS because it really helps the farmers to maintain their productivity, especially during the climate anomalies periods such as and so. And it's also supportive for the policymakers, so it can help with the distribution of the planting capital that is necessary for farmers in necessary regions. As for the barriers, firstly, we observe that the update that is needed by this information system requires quite extensive efforts in terms of personnel and time. As you might remember before, the data input itself is actually quite large. So yeah, it is quite a struggle to update this system. But we actually try to address this problem because we are now developing the newer version that hopefully can address these difficulties in update this year. So yeah, we are still working on that newer version. But then we still also have the second point in the barriers, which is about the need of national scale validation to check on the quality of the predicted information. Previously, in the impact part, the numbers were only from around 10 provinces in Indonesia, and we have now 38 provinces in Indonesia. In order to ICCS can become a guideline or a go-to for the farmers as as a tool to help them decide the planting time, we need to check the recommendation, the quality of the recommendation by having the validation in all provinces in Indonesia. And here you can see the journey of this information system from 2007, which was not yet an information system. It was in form of atlas and books, and they are island-based. And starting in 2011, we transformed into website and mobile app system. And in 2014, we added a feature called standing crop, where we can monitor the growth phase of the rice, and it is very useful to understand the to estimate the stock for the national rice production in the next couple of months. And actually in 2020, this feature, the standing crop feature, is separated from ICCIS and it becomes its own information system. As you might remember before in the replication slide. And for this year, we are currently trying to integrate a method called the crop water balance in our system. So for the newest version, we still have the main menu, which is the cropping calendar, but we also added the water balance menu where we consider also the water source, the irrigation water source from the surface water, such as rivers and lakes. So it's not only coming from the rainfall. And the users here can see the calculation of the water availability, the crop water requirement, and also the water balance in this new system that we still try to develop. And for the infrastructure, besides the fertilizer dosage and the seed varieties, we also added supplementary irrigation for the time that it is necessary to have supplementary, such as during the drought or the dry season. And we still also have the risk management menu, which is more about the agricultural risk due to the climate change. And we also add a supporting menu, which is more about access for the farmers to have a more sustainable agriculture practice. So it is about the location of seed producer, the location of fertilizer kiosk, and also the location for the agriculture offices near the farmers area. And yeah, I think that's all today that I can share with you. You can always ask any question or inquiries in our social media as shown here. And of course, after this, we have the discussion by help of our moderator. So thank you everyone for the attention, and back to you, Lucrezia. Thank you.
Thanks to you, Anisa. It was a very good presentation. I have a question, but before that, I would like to ask participants if they have any question for you. Again, please, you can raise your hand and write in the question and answer box. While waiting, I will ask you my question. So my question is there any plan to also look at other parameters related to soil health? Like, well, also over the other presentations of today, we heard a lot about soil biological parameters and soil microorganisms. Are you also planning to consider these? And another question still related to this and related to risk management relates, for example, to soil erosion. Do you have any plan to also include or consider the risk for soil erosion, considering also the topography of Indonesia? Thanks.
Yeah, okay. I will try to answer to that question. So this cropping calendar stems from our institution, which is the task is has more focus on agroclimate and hydrology. So that's why it relies heavily on the climate and water part. But we get help from the soil institution that is also our neighbor in the Ministry of Agriculture. So as for the fertilizer, for example, for the fertilizer recommendation, we get the calculation from them. So it's not from our office. And to be honest, I don't have the capacity to share with you with the recommendation calculation. Because it's funny, I realized just now when I start hearing all the speakers, it is basically all from the from the aspect of soil science, but for us it is more from the agroclimate and hydrological science. So yeah, it is different. But yeah, I mean, if you ask about the plan, for now, we are still using the recommendation that we get from the soil institution that is also our partners. But we update the recommendation. When they have new recommendation, then we will implement that in our system. So you can say that our information system is more about the display of the fertilizer recommendation. We don't really calculate ourselves the recommendation because we obtain that data from the others. But yeah, we are communicating. We have a well-developed communication with them. And for the same also applies for the soil erosion because we in our office we do calculate soil erosion in some activities, but for now to integrate the calculation into this national scale information system, we still have no plan to integrate that because I think the limitation is on the data necessary to calculate the soil erosion in national level. We might have planned on that, but of course, we need to also have partnership with other institutions as well, because yeah, we are, as I mentioned before, we are more focused on the agroclimate and hydrological uh, science currently. But yeah, I think that's a great advice from you. So thank you for asking the question.
Thanks to you for asking. I see a hand for answering, sorry. I see a hand up. I'm now giving the permission to talk to Nurul Islam. Just a second. Okay, Nurul, you should be able to unmute yourself now, please. We cannot hear you yet. You're still muted. Nurul? Okay, let me ask if there is anyone else that have a question. Okay, now we should be
Yes.
able to hear you. Okay, yes.
Okay. Hear me, Lucrezia?
Yes, please.
Yes. Thank you for your cooperation. I have a question. Anisha Noyara. Thanks. At first, thanks to her. Nice presentation. Uh, How can you fertilizer recommendation recommendation in farmers level in your country? But Bangladesh have another system. After soil test, we provide the fertilizer card in farmers. But your country, how can you fertilizer recommendation system?
Okay, let me confirm to you first. Are you asking about how the fertilizer is being distributed to our farmers in Indonesia?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so of course the farmers usually buy the fertilizers by themselves in the fertilizer kiosk that we have all in all area basically. So in each village there are usually more than 10 fertilizer kiosks, and it could be like the small one or like the more industrialized one, so the large one. But also the Ministry of Agriculture have the subsidy that is given to the farmers that is registered in our program. So during sometimes, especially during the start of the planting periods in Indonesia, the government will distribute the fertilizers to the farmers using these fertilizers kiosks that I mentioned to you before. So yeah, the farmers basically can obtain the fertilizer through two ways. So the first, they can buy it themselves in the kiosk, and then they also can get subsidy from the government for the fertilizers. I hope that answered your question.
Thank you. Just another question. Which method is used for recommendation? Laboratory analysis method or online system?
I'm sorry, can you please repeat
Uh,
the question?
which method is used for recommendation system? In Bangladesh, our laboratory system we collect soil sample from farmers field and then analysis, then farmers, we prepare the card for farmers. And another method is online system. You can search and you search, push some information, land type, crops, name, variety, then you can apply. You can get a fertilizer card, online system. But in your country, which method are used?
Yeah, so in Indonesia, we also use both methods, the online and offline method. For the online, we have like an information system called Simluhtan, which is basically can be accessed by the farmers as well as the agriculture extension workers that can help them to register themselves so that they are registered and then can get the benefit as for the, for example, for the subsidy of fertilizer or the seed. So it's online and it is managed by our own Ministry of Agriculture. And also for the offline system, the farmers can go to the nearest agriculture office, and we have the agriculture office in all level, basically in all level of administration. And the smallest one is in the village. You usually have one agricultural extension worker in one village, and the farmers can go to his or her or they to asking for help to be registered and to get a card, like an ID card to be registered in the program so they can get the benefit as being a member of that program.
Thank you for your nice answer. Thank you, Lucrezia.
My pleasure, and thanks to you for your intervention. I'm just reading in the chat that in Bhutan there's been a number of initiatives. They just launched their soil atlas, but also they just launched their third version of fertilizer recommendation guidebook. This is just for you, for the information of you all. Before closing the webinar, I would like to ask you all if you would like to take the floor. This is especially for participants. If you would like to take the floor and share on your experience on the topic or your country experience on the topic, as Dr. Nurul just did from Bangladesh. Do you feel like sharing anything with us before we close? You can still do so afterwards by sending me an email. And if we collect enough inputs, I will also be able to give you the floor in a webinar. So you can take the floor as panelist in that case. Okay, if not, I'm happy to close the webinar in time. Once again, I would like to thank all speakers, all panelists for their very good presentations. They were super interesting, and also many thanks for answering the many questions that participants asked. That's also a reflection of the good quality of your work. So congratulations on the work of you all.